Yo. This might be a very scattershotted video because I have a lot of like very small things to talk about. Maybe not. Maybe I can just yap, like latch onto one thing and yap for hours. That actually tends to be what happens. So anyway, let's talk. What is the first thing that hops to my mind? First thing being Hunt Showdown for some reason. I don't really know. I don't know. It's been a while since I played Hunt Showdown, but I'm currently updating Hunt Showdown to, be able to actually play it again. I have like 3 games I really want to get back into. Well, I have more, but the 3 main ones are Sea of Thieves, which I've gamed a little like today, and last night my homies just pulled up like out of fucking nowhere, just pinged me in some random old Discord server, said, yo, Sea of Thieves? And then I immediately jumped on because, of course I'm gonna play Sea of Thieves with the boys. We got absolutely hammered though. There was a new strat on the way. No, not on the way. Season 14 has been out for a while. But there's some huge updates in terms of like, the meta shifting in terms of combat, and it is insane what you can actually do. Like, how do you defend against the fucking the wind blower? I still don't know, because the thing is, so first of all, there is new items. There is like a whole ass grappling hook that you can just like hook onto stuff, like it's a grappling hook. Then there is the rope, like walking thing. So on your ship on the high seas, there is a rope, just like you can just what's it called? The hook. I don't know. Is it called the hook? You can hook stuff like from your ship to your ship essentially. But if you're just like hook onto the ground, which you can, that's been a thing for a while, right? To like maneuver your boat. I did the most beautiful maneuver in terms of that just today. Was about to sail into a straight up just 90 degrees into an island, then hooked the ground and did a 180. Not even kidding you, a 180, and then bam, we were so good, and we were in the middle of like ship combat, not like combat, but we were fighting some ghost ships that were fucking us up pretty hard because my god fucking damn it, that was the worst. Okay, oh well, big L to me. But I let my homie take the position as captain, and I should never have done that because he just sailed directly into the enemy, and we were bombarded by like 6 ships at once, and we are a sloop. It is not very, it's not the easiest task in the world to get out of there, especially when you expect your boys to have your back and he just doesn't. Oh well, it happens. But essentially, oh god, what are they even? Yeah, okay. So, there are a couple new metas. 3 of them to be exact. The first one being this, grappling hook thingy. The second one being some sort of, this rope that you can just like go on. You can just walk on it, which is pretty insane in terms of like ship combat. I haven't seen it used really. The one that I've seen used like, it's just convenient for like missions where there are a lot of islands, especially in the Devil's Roar and stuff, where there's not really a shore. Well, actually, in the Devil's Roar, there's a lot of shores. I might be thinking of the wrong places. But there are a lot of islands in the 7 seas of Sea of Thieves, right? And some of them just doesn't really have beaches that you can like walk onto, or at least not very many of them. Then you have to like park your boat very precisely, like maneuver it very very precisely, and that's not always the easiest thing in Sea of Thieves. Of course, I am goated at it, so that's not a problem. That's not particularly an issue, but you know, when it is, it's just more convenient that you can just, like, grapple onto land and then walk on the rope. Like, sure, you have to balance, but balancing is not that hard. You can even, like, run on the ropes, which is, you know, it looks kind of goofy when you're, you know, your character has a fucking peg leg. But it is what it is. It's not... Sea of Thieves has never been a serious game, so... You know, it is what it is. Thunder... So that's more like convenience. The last thing that I very much have experienced in terms of combat, and the new meta, is the wind horn. I don't actually know what it's called. I don't know how you how you get it. But playing with my bros last night, I kinda just... Thunder... It just kinda appeared on our boat at some point. I don't really know why. I don't know where it came from. It was just... some random loot drop that you could use. I don't know. But it's meant to... I think it's meant to be used, at least, at, like... You know, outside of combat, it's just used to get your boat, like, faster, like, so you always have the wind in your back, right? Kind of like in Valheim, I think it's, Mother's, powers? I don't know. The Forest Guardian's power? Maybe. No, that sounds wrong. Oh well. There is one where you are on a boat, and then you can just, you can activate your ability, and then the wind is always with you. So it's essentially the same thing, but you have to, like, be way more active and, you know, use your ability. Also, it, you know, if you hit your crew members with it, it's gonna blast them off the ship, essentially. That's gonna be very important in just a second, and I think you already know why. But... You know, essentially you have to always, you know, be with the horn, like have the horn equipped and be using it, and god, it makes the most horrifying sound ever. So that's like, you know, I guess it's a cost, but, you know, in terms of how overpowered it is, now that I know how well it can be used, because... The thing is, we were just like sailing as usual a couple hours into our voyage. We were actually gathering up quite a bit of loot, right? Then we see a default sloop doing Fort of the Damned. And, you know, that's of course a giant red flag for anyone that you are, you know, you're not supposed to fuck with a default sloop doing Fort of the Damned. That is... You know, those are tryhards. And even, like, you know, in the rare event that they weren't tryhards, they were actually just beginners. Like, they completed the Fort of the Damned. It was very obvious. There is some sort of, I can't remember what, but there's some sort of, like, world sound. Because when you're doing Fort of the Damned, it just kind of gets announced to the entire server. And there's also a sound for, like, sound cue, and, like, of course the like the skull disappears when you're done. And that happened. They completed it. They did Fort of the Damned. They damned the fort. They did the deed. So, you know, that entire thing happened, and we still thought, yeah, let's go for this. And then we had a battle back and forth, and then, you know, they sank us, we sank them, they sank us, we sank them, you know, a whole back and forth that we eventually just started losing really badly because, you know, we were in a fucking brigantine. Brigantines being by far the worst ship in the game, just in terms of, like, stats in general. Uh-oh. But, you know, we were 3 people, so what's the... No, we didn't want to fuck with a galleon. That was too much work for like 3 guys who were just getting back into the game, just like for funsies, right? Oh, that was close. So yeah, we lost pretty badly, but we only started losing like really badly whenever our enemies encountered the horn. Like, they realized that we had this magical wind horn on our ship. And they, of course, boarded the ship and immediately picked it up, and then just kind of started fucking us up real bad. Because the thing is, especially with as if there are, I don't know, okay, drop this. There are two sides, right? There are two, like, ladders you can climb up to the ship. And that is very much like the only places you can go to the ship, go up the ship. So if you're off the ship, those are the only two places. So once he got us all off the ship, which was already pretty easy because he had the fucking horn to just blow us off, he kind of just stood there and camped, like both the ladders, because both ladders are in range of this thing. It was really, really easy for him. It felt a little cheap to lose in this way, but of course we had already mentally lost because, God, we were... I mean, again, we challenged a default sloop, Fort of the Damned sloop. Not the wisest decision I have ever made, I'm gonna be honest. Uh-oh. But yeah, that's a whole fucking thing. That's just to show, like, okay, I'm probably not explaining it all too well, but you're just gonna have to take my word on the fact that it really messed us up, the wind horn, and none of us really thought of, like, wow, we can just use this for combat. Just like board the enemy ship, sink it, and you know, a single hold will essentially do the trick. And if you can just get your enemies off the ship for long enough, that's good enough. That's plenty fine. Then your enemy just fucking sinks. The thing is, though, that you respawn relatively fucking close to the island that you know, left off on, and by left off I mean died on. Your ship has sunk on. So, you know, they immediately just ran back to us, and that's why we had this, like, back and forth, where they eventually began to win, because we were already, like, kind of raiding they did the Fort of the Damned, and just the vault was just open. So we, of course, took the opportunity to go raid the entire vault, which, you know, if you don't know, Fort of the Damned is essentially like the final boss of Sea of Thieves. I don't know, it's not really, but it's a very... It's a hard ass fucking fight in general. So yeah, that's that failed. That failed miserably because they just kind of within like a minute they just came back. So womp womp. But yeah, that's, you know, that's the entire TLDR of yesterday. Today has just been pretty chill. We ran into a couple players, but, you know, they've all been pretty chill. They've just not really attacked us. Even when, you know, we were kind of like, you know, we were spotting a couple of galleons in the distance, which, you know, big yikes. But we were spotting some in the distance, and they, whenever we, like, got close to them, because at some point, at two separate points, two separate galleons kind of sneaked up on us. One was kind of iffy if they actually knew we were there, because I parked the boat like on the opposite side, and we were kind of in a blind spot, because my future sight made me predict that they were gonna spot us and go hunt us down immediately, because they are a galleon, we are a sloop. They have, what, 3 or 4 cannons on each side. We have 1. So, you know, that's a thing. But, you know, the second one, they straight up just sailed. They had such a good opening to shoot us down. They just sailed right on by. And even after we did our mission and went on to this next mission, which was, you know, another one of these sea battles, shadow folk ghost ships battles. They were just kind of like, we left at the same time. They had some mission going on the neighboring island to us, and then we went over one island and did the ghost ship battle, and they just kind of looked on for a little while and then eventually just kind of left. There was also another galleon circling us, but that was an NPC galleon, some sort of, I don't remember what it is. I haven't interacted with it before, but some sort of like big bad boss of, you know, he has a big ship that is on fire, literally on fire, and just kind of chilling. He eventually just ran into a big ass rock and then kind of disappeared. So we didn't really have to interact with him. And eventually we whittled down this little pest of an island intruders, and we sold our stuff peacefully back at some outpost. And eventually, you know, when we've lost, not when we've lost it all, when we've sold it all, I finally got the enough levels in my Order of Souls to finally officially become Pirate Legend. I know, right? This has all led up to this one moment. Oh fuck, I forgot to bow. Ah, crud. Oh well. So now I am finally officially Pirate Legend. I am level 50, at least, in 3 different emissaries. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty swell. I've finally now been to the Pirate Legend area as a Pirate Legend, right? Because you can go there as a non-Pirate Legend, just as long as one of your crew members have like unlocked the area. There's some sort of like you get a new piece of music that you can play at a very specific point in essentially every single tavern, I think. Because there's a guy just kind of standing there ominously saying like, yo, and that's essentially like all you get out of him. I lied. I couldn't remember what he said, but just trust me. So yeah, I've finally been to that area. It's kind of a shame that all of the Pirate Legend like stuff, because essentially all you can buy in Sea of Thieves are like cosmetics. You can't actually buy like, you know, upgrades to your ship or anything like that. It is just cosmetics, which is fine. It fits the I don't know, not really the theme, but you know, it balances the game out and makes it so that it's more of a roguelike, kinda. I don't know if that, like, if it fits the definition of a roguelike, but you know, a roguelike is just, you go on this one run, you do some stuff, and then, you know, in some roguelikes you can like do permanent upgrades. You can't even do permanent upgrades. There's a whole fucking thing that, like, about what actually determines a roguelike that I am not gonna get into because I do not know the definitions, and some redditor is gonna be very angry at me for getting things wrong, which might be a fun enough opportunity to, you know, a funny enough excuse to just make this. Yeah, sure, okay, we're delving into this. I'm gonna figure out my own terms of what a roguelike is. Okay, so first of all, when you die, you lose fucking everything. This fits fairly well, except, I don't know. Okay, so a roguelike is most likely single player, but it has... Is this just what they mean with, like, it has roguelike elements? Because in some games, like, you know, descriptions, it just says, insert genre here, elements. And I guess that kind of fits here, because there's no way this is a roguelike, because one of my criterias for a roguelike is that it is single player, and there is like a certain end goal. There is no end goal in Sea of Thieves, and there you are playing multiplayer in Sea of Thieves. You're kind of in a, you know, you're in a somewhat open world. There's not really levels of any kind. It's basically just the... There's actually not that many roguelike elements. I don't know why I got into this. Thank you for the opportunity to heal, but I don't have enough soul to heal. I'm gonna die. I'm not dying here. Well, if I'm gonna lose anyway, I'm fine with it being to Shio. I didn't expect to get this far anyway. It is literally 2 AM and I really gotta work tomorrow, so I really gotta go to bed soon. I need me beauty sleep, right? But, you know, it has a lot of roguelike elements, but I wouldn't call it a roguelike. Okay, that's my conclusion. Yap, over. I think my local Redditor is fine with that. So, yeah, that is Obama Finder. That is my conclusion to the recent adventures I have been on. Bizarre adventures, if I must say, if I must put a label on it. So, some adventures I would like to go on is, you know, scroll back like 20 minutes or something. I said there were a couple games that I'd really like to dive back into. One of them being Sea of Thieves. One of them being Hunt Showdown, which I am currently updating. It might actually be finished updating by now. But there is some sort of huge update. There is a fucking... they did a whole ass, like, Post Malone crossover. They, you know, of course they have, like, downgrade... Wow, I am really tanking this... Wow. This is not looking great. They did a whole fucking Post Malone thing... convention thingy. Not a convention, but they have, of course they have a season pass because they're an FPS game. They're shooters. They are, you know, multiplayer shooter game. Of course they're gonna have seasons. This season has basically just revolved around Post Malone, which I think is pretty funny, especially because it's just so different vibes, but so similar vibes at the same time. Like, he doesn't fit at all, but also he fits so perfectly into Hunt Showdown. So one of the things I really like is the circus. They've added like they've added just the wandering circus, kind of like the, you know, the smaller bosses. Like we had Hellboy. Not Hellboy, Hellborn. We call him Hellboy because we are goated and we are funny. We also call them fun dogs instead of hellhounds. But you know, stuff like that, like small little mini bosses. And there also is a mini boss in here, but not in the conventional way where you know, you beat the boss, you get a bouncy, you dip. No, you get some sort of, I don't know, I didn't get to play it all, you know, I didn't get to play it enough, let alone win enough to get a feeling or like fully understand what was actually going on in the circus. But you get to fight some fat guy, and after you fight the fat guy, you get some sort of like, you know, the whole thing with like the upgrades you can get and stuff. You get some of those. You get some. Why can't I remember what it's called? God damn it! They have some sort of name that would really like complete my train of thought if I could recall what they're called. Oh well, you're just gonna have to trust me that I don't sound like schizo and don't know what I'm talking about here. Well, I just admitted that I actually don't know what I'm talking about, so maybe you should just ignore everything I'm saying. Oh well, it happens, right? God damn it, hit him once, the fucker. God damn it, I should maybe focus on healing, but I'm getting such good hits in on this guy. Like, look at this. Oh, it's so tempting each fucking time. Okay, that's a... what? Okay, that's fucked up. You all saw that I fully healed, and then you're saying that I just didn't? Okay. Okay. If I'm allowed to call bullshit on one collector fight, I'm calling bullshit on this one. This is utter garbage. That was not a skill issue whatsoever. I am in denial until somebody proves me wrong. Hope nobody proves me wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. Over and out.